Welcome to the Miracles and Millions Show. This is your go-to show for living a life of miracles, where we're taking the limits off what you believe is possible. It's time to play big, be bold, and shine bright. I'm your host, Michelle Humphrey. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to have this incredible expert with us. You may have already heard about her because she is like everywhere. This is Mrs. Jill Lublin, and she is an international speaker, an author, a consultant. She helps people get book deals, and she teaches and is the known expert for Publicity Crash Courses. I have been a student of hers. I adore this woman, and without any further ado, Jill, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Oh, Michelle, I am doing great, and it's a delight to be with you.
Oh my goodness, it's a delight to have you. So I've known you, like I said, the expertise and helping people to get into PR, and we'll talk about PR and even what it is, but I want to hear your heart. Like, what got you on the path? Because you've been a veteran for 24 years or so now at this point? Yes?
Yes, I have. And you know, what I'm excited about is that I'm still as passionate as ever, because truly my heart is that I'm a messenger of messengers. And what I know about messengers is there's a drive in somebody who has a message to put their message out. Sometimes they don't know how to do it. Understandable, right? Most people don't know how to do it. But that's where I come in, because I have been given a gift and passion to support messengers, to take messages and mold them and make them so that they're easily accessible to a public ear, so to speak. And so that makes my heart happy that people who are passionate about what they do are able to get their message out, because frankly, I have a talent to be able to help them. They can be busy doing their talent, right? And yeah. I think that's always the thing, is like, you know, stay where you are, do what you're good at, and then let other people support you with what they're good at. So that for me is where my heart is, where my passion is, and it's thrilling to support others to get out there.
Awesome. That is so great. So I think PR is one of those things where everyone's heard of it, but they're maybe a little unsure of what it really is. Maybe we can go a deep dive into really helping people understand what PR is, what public relations are.
Yes, it's always a good question. Mm-hmm. And here's my definition. Public relations happens from the minute you walk out your door. What do you think you're doing? See, to me, it isn't about getting in a newspaper. I mean, yes, it is. Let me just say, yes, it's about getting in a newspaper, radio, television, podcasts, blogs, social media. Everything is PR, right? It also happens at the grocery store, in the supermarket, getting coffee, on the airplane. I mean, you know, everywhere you are doing PR. The question is, what are you saying and what are you doing? Is it consistent and congruent? Is it authentic to you? Is it who you are and what you want to be? You know, if you're quirky, be quirky. If you're serious, be serious. You know, it's just, I think that the message and who you are and your public relations has to be consistent. And I think that's important for people. So public relations is getting media. It also drives your prospects. It drives money. It drives trust. It drives familiarity, so that when people see your name, your company name, there's a recognition factor that happens that's consistent and persistent with who you are in the market, so that they recognize you. And Michelle, I call that the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And that's a lot of fun, because once you're heard of, once you're recognized, once you're known, it's just, let's just be honest, it's just easier for a business to flow to you, for you people to say yes to you because they've heard of you. And that makes a big difference.
Oh my goodness, I so agree. And I've heard you speak to this. I would just love to dive a little bit deeper, because I would think most people, and maybe even years ago, that may have been me, that I've got to create this other persona, but maybe I didn't know how to be so authentic. What do you say about the benefits and why it's so necessary to be so authentic and not mold yourself into something that you're not?
Well, number one, you can't keep that up, right? In other words, it's exhausting. You want to be who you are in work and play in work. And I hope that your life becomes all the same. For me, when I'm at work, I'm playing because I feel a joy in that work and serving and doing the work that I love. And, when I'm vacating, I'm on vacation, right? But even so, sometimes, you just never know what's going to happen and who you're going to meet and where. So what I know is the magic of life presents itself all the time. And I think that when you're consistent with who you are, and that you are speaking a message that's truly resonating with who you are, and what you do and what you love, great. It's going to show through. You're going to shine. It's going to attract. And the truth is, if you're not, well, we might have to tweak that and look for new ways to express, new ways, some ways that drop out, so to speak. I think there are some things in this time, as we're going through different things, that there are things that people need to just drop out, meaning drop off their menu. I'm dropping things off my menu and I'm adding things in that are more enlivening. And I do think we all sometimes need to be restructured just a little bit at least and take a look and do what brings you joy and be doing what brings you joy as much as possible. We all have to do those, things that we just got to do because it keeps a business going. But as much as possible, I think it's important to do the things that bring you the most joy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so agree. I have one of my key expressions is the better you feel, the better your life works. And you can be showing up in, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. It's like, that overwhelm energy, or shift your perceptions and find ways to say, you know what? Okay. What can I do right now to enjoy this a little bit more? What can I do to shift this? One of the key things that I've done through, thank goodness we're starting to heal through this COVID but in the heart of it, it was, how can I really enjoy? What can I do to set up enjoying COVID? And my family and I and friends started to call it, we're COVIDing epic style, right? And most people, that wasn't the question. That wasn't the focus. And man, we sailed through that one pretty good considering we were focusing on the joy. So I so agree with you. And I know you feel so strongly about the message. And let's just help people to understand, what is their message? What are the components of the message? And really, how do they go about starting to create it?
So, yes, I feel so strongly about the message because the message of whoever you are in business and whatever you do, the message lies at the heart of it. What do I mean by that? I mean, you've got to identify a problem out in the marketplace. And I like to ask people to answer this question, and that is, what is the problem out there? I didn't say, what do you do? I didn't say, tell me about your business. I said, what's the problem out there? And then I want you to shift it to giving people real solutions, simple, easy solutions that then they get drawn to want to do business with you because you're doing what? You're providing value, right? And when I wrote Guerrilla Publicity, I was very privileged to talk to media that you would want to be on, Entrepreneur Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, newspapers and radio all across the nation. And, what's interesting is they didn't agree about everything, but they did agree about one thing, and that is to give value and benefit to others. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a real key, give to others something. I like to say appetizers, not full meals, right? Mm-hmm. And so you want to give people real value, tell them what to do, and then draw them back in. And I will suggest to you that a gentleman I was working with in my publicity course, which you've also taken, he's in Australia, and we restructured his message. He's a gentleman who's smart in emotional intelligence, a speaker, an author. And we restructured his message with regard to that formula, identifying what's the problem today, giving people 3 solutions. And here's what's interesting. He posted that on social media. Here's my new message. And he got 250 likes. Now, Michelle, that's super to engage people in 250 of anything, right? We like that.
No
we
kidding.
Want response. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So you want to encourage and engender response, right? You want to break through the noise. So oftentimes that is a reconstruction of a message. That's what makes a difference.
Absolutely. And I know you're all about helping people to solve those problems and be the solution, as you've always said. What are some of those key things that people want to look at in getting their message out there?
So a couple things. A few things you want to make sure are really good and concise is your bio. And I know you mentioned, I helped you with your bio in the publicity course. Absolutely, because your bio is a key element that people will look at. It could be in your signature line. It will be in your social media. It will go out at times and different times, usually to prospects and customers. So you want your bio to reflect who you are in a way that's smart, simple, and easy. And I think that's a real key too.
Absolutely. And what are the other parts that you really emphasize?
So message, bio, press release, and then I have a very super cool, fun thing that goes out every 60 days, completely free, and it's called an announcement, where you show up in your community continuously so that your name recognition elevates. That makes a big difference, completely free, and it's a great strategy that actually works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love that because I think most people, and I've seen this with even people that I know. I've been a coach for 20 years and maybe the bio that I had 20 years ago, even though I'm doing the same thing, isn't the most accurate reflection of me. And that's what you really, Jill, brought to my knowledge. It's like, okay, even though you're a business coach and you've been doing this for decades, right? Like who I am has evolved and it's expanded. So I've learned through you that, every 6 months, max a year, I'm re-looking at my stuff and these announcements of, getting things out there and being in that public eye every 60 days or quarter at least that you want them to be updated, right?
Absolutely. Michelle, I want to add in there that it's actually every 90 days is what you want to do. You want to look at your bio every 3 months.
Oh,
Why?
Wow. Okay.
Because exactly
I can
what
upgrade.
You said. Yes, you can upgrade as you should. The truth is you're right. We do change. Something happens. Maybe you got a board position. Maybe you launched a new program. Maybe you fill in the blank. But the truth is that our lives keep going and then we forget. I had somebody in my Publicity Crash course recently and she said, oh my gosh, I hadn't updated my bio since I left corporate. That was 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
She was just going so fast. She never thought, well, I should update my bio.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So what is it that is your secret sauce formula?
Oh, well, I don't know. If I tell you, I might have to shut this podcast off.
Oh, no. Well, maybe just to me and my listeners.
So my secret sauce is creating what I like to call the ooh, ah factor, right? Using everything you've got. And I think that a lot of people forget to use all parts of who they are, so if you're Hispanic, you want to go to Hispanic media, Christian to Christian media, Jewish to Jewish media, and so on and so forth. Use your ethnicity, use your religion, use being a woman to go out on International Women's Day as an example. That people just forget some of the, shall I call it, the most obvious parts of who they are. So I think that's a real key too, is use everything you've got.
Yes. And then I think the biggest thing, right, and this, that holds people back is their fear, the stories that they're telling themselves. They make up their own limitations for the most part. What do you help to do, or what do you say to people who are like, me, the media, me in the public? How can we help support people to move beyond their fears and their own really self-made limitations?
Yes, and they are self-made. So listen, I deal a lot with people who are afraid. And I'm grateful for the opportunity because, listen, I understand. I was shy too, believe it or not. And the thing that I know is that once you know your message, once you're clear about what to say and in what order and to say it with more ease, the reality is confidence goes way up. And when your confidence goes way up, then you're able to more effectively attract business and more effectively manage your message so that no matter when people say to you, hey, what do? You actually have an answer. I remember this wonderful interior designer that was in one of my publicity courses, and she said she used to feel like a deer in headlights when people would say, what do you do? Because number one, people didn't always understand interior designer or what it meant. And she was able to effectively communicate her message at that time, which landed her at a networking event, a $2,000 client. She came back to me. She said, Jill, I've never even been able to say who I am and, communicate it in a way that I could feel grounded in what I wanted to say and effective in communicating it. I always felt nervous and a bit jittery, like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. So what I'm really clear about is that the confidence of that message extends and people get, oh, she must know what she's talking about. It's not to say you're never nervous. I mean, I get nervous. We all get nervous. It's part of the human condition, right? So that's okay. But knowing how to manage your message is important because it takes away that fear. It takes away that I don't know what to say part. And what I think is so powerful is that when you're consistent with it and able to have it like flow out of your mouth. And I don't mean, I do mean a little bit scripted, meaning you know what to say, but that natural and authentic, because when it is natural and authentic, it will flow.
Absolutely. And, for me, I'm all about the miracles and millions. And for me, you're creating miracles for people. You're helping them to want to create the clarity, right? And to, what's the expression? You probably even know this better than I do, but you know what? If I'm going to write like a 1-minute speech, give me all day. But if I'm going to speak all day, give me 1 minute, right? It's that, right? Like it really takes longer to be that concise and precise. And I know, girlfriend, I remember that from you. You're all about being precise and concise and really playing with what are those words. And you know what? This is worth it, everyone. You want to take some time. You want to fine tune because when it's a fit for you, I like to kind of call it the round peg in the round hole, right? And then you know what to say. You're just like, yes. And then that does build confidence. And then even if, as you said, Jill, even if you are nervous, right? There's this, I've learned it from, it's almost the trained repetition, right? Even though that I'm nervous, it's like, man, I've been doing this for so long, it just somehow flows, right? And you get to this point, like, you know what to say and you know your little sound bites, let's kind of call it, or what's most optimal and concise and precise. And for me, that's what helps to create the miracles. And let's also speak about this because you help people to get book deals. You are the master at these publicity crash courses. And how does this increase people's bottom line and help them to even open up to potentially make millions?
Well, let me just say, one of my clients, go look her up, Susie Carter, Carder. What the heck? Let's promote her on the show because she's about to have a book coming out on profit. And I'm the one who helped her place that book with an agent who got her over a 6-figure book deal. Now, my dear, that is profit. What do I mean by that?
We will celebrate that.
We will celebrate that. And it's coming out this year. And nice. I'm in 2020. And I'm so grateful for playing a part in that. Well, that's profit, right? Because what's going to happen is that will take her business as a consultant, as a workshop leader, as a speaker, right? It'll take her business and elevate her so that she can charge more for her programs, so that she gets good fees when she's speaking, so that people will have something of Susie, so to speak, when they go see her. And so I am really big on having well, we could call it a legacy. That's a big word for a book, but truth is, a book is your legacy. A book is your information that you've poured through so that people can quickly get concepts that perhaps took you 25 years. Guerrilla publicity. I'm a 25-year publicity veteran. And in that book are simple, quick concepts that, are easily communicated, right? In Profit of Kindness, same thing. It's melding information so that people have it in front of them. That's how it can lead to profits. And sometimes it's really, like, for instance, I had a woman whose book I helped sell. Again, these are all ideas. They weren't even written. In fact, I actually prefer they're not written because it's easier to promote that to a publisher or agent because then they can help mold it also. And she had been wanting to write a book about her opioid addiction that she very wonderfully got through and over and recovered from. And she wanted to inspire others. So sometimes it'll be a source of inspiration and motivation for others. And I was able to get her the publisher who published her book about her journey Why? Because it was a big hot topic and people needed to understand what to do about it. And so here's a woman that you've never heard of, but she has a book out because of her desire to help others. And to me, that is powerful. So I will tell you, having sold books for 18 years now to major publishers and agents, I'm talking Simon & Schuster and Harper Leadership and business books and self-help books and a lot of transformational books. And then people who are self-published, I help them get foreign rights deals, right? Because if you look at Profit of Kindness back here, I actually got that now in India and in Russia, which is so exciting. And we're spreading kindness around the globe. And I will tell you what I know that the publishers tell me and the agents tell me is that they want people who have influence. And so that means, people like you, a podcast, people who are reaching people who are speaking to others, people that know how to promote and create business, which is why I know that publicity is so key, because what does publicity do? Builds influence. And that's actually why I work with a lot of people, just to help you build your influence, right? Touch more people and frankly, affect and impact more lives. That's the power of publicity.
It is, and I so love it. And I love your heart. So I want to, before you go, because I know you do circles of kindness and profitability, profit and kindness is the title of your book, speak to, because I believe profit and kindness go hand in hand. And I really want to demystify and get out of people's heads that people who are wealthy and make a lot of money somehow are mean and not kind people on the planet, whereas I believe it's the exact opposite. But I would love for you to just touch on that and speak more to it.
Sure. Well, it's interesting because with the Profit of Kindness, which is the new book you're talking about, here's what I noticed. Interviewing fabulous people. They had all kinds of businesses. One owned a veterinary clinic. One was, CEO of different kinds of companies. Some were small business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs. Here's what I noticed, and across the board, those companies that are kind, and I'm talking from Kleenex to Honda, I'm talking from Hyatt Hotels, where I talked to some of the people there, to, again, small business owners. Those companies that were kind made more money, typically. So they were more profitable. It was across the board, including, a woman whose husband was a veterinarian, and then they opened two, and then they sold it for multi-million dollars to a large chain, right? Keeping with their model. And that she was really a stand for. So, on top of that, the CEOs tend to be more fulfilled and happier. I saw a real correlation between happiness, being kind, being more profitable, and having more satisfied customers and more satisfied employees. It was across the board. And you know what else I was really fascinated by, Michelle? Because, of course, I wrote a book on publicity, and I'm an expert on publicity. So one day it occurred to me to ask the question, now, how does this relate to publicity? Like, I didn't write whole chapters about this, but I just okay, I thought for myself, how do I start tying these together? And what I realized is that kind companies get more publicity. And if I may, let me share a story about this. Yeah, this young man, he was in his 20s at the time, and his grandmother was dying. He lived in a rural place, I think it was Maine. And as his grandmother was really in her final days, she's like, I want clam chowder from Panera Bread. That was her favorite.
Okay.
And it was Tuesday. Okay. Panera doesn't make clam chowder on Tuesday. It turns out only on Friday. So he calls up the local Panera Bread company and he says, my grandmother is dying and she has asked for clam chowder. And the woman said, we don't make clam chowder on Tuesday. She goes, but give me a minute. All right. And she calls him back and she goes, I'm making you the clam chowder. So come on in. Come on in. Yeah. So guess what happens? He comes in, she hands him beautiful clam chowder. She hands him a box of cookies. She wishes him well. And she sends him on his way as to, give this beautiful final wish to his grandmother. Well, let me just tell you, 2 years later and 350,000 likes, retweets, social media pouring out this story. Do you think that little Panera Bread franchise in, small town America got a lot of publicity? You bet they did. 350. I looked it up. 352, I think, thousand. Last time I looked, 352,000 images, impressions, likes, retweets, all kinds of comments. And that woman, by the way, got not only her job because she was afraid she was going to get fired. Oh no, she got promoted. She is now regional manager. Why? Because she did a simple act of kindness, which then generated a really tidal wave of response. And that is the profit of kindness.
Oh, honey, I absolutely love that. And right, I'll just add, for people not to do it looking for the publicity, do it because your heart led you to do it, right? And I so agree. We're like led, we're guided. And if you are led and guided to be more kind, one of the things that just has driven my life, and I go back and it was back in 1991, so 29, gosh, is that possible? 29 years ago. But my very first, let's call it personal development seminar, was Zig Ziglar, right? I'm sure you probably
lucky
know.
You.
Oh yes. My God, right? And at first I was like, Zig Ziglar, like who would name their kid that? Honestly, was my first reaction. But after I saw him, within 10 minutes, the man won me over. One of the most beautiful, kindest hearts on the planet. But here's my point. One of his key messages, his key beliefs, right, that guiding principles of his life was you help enough people get what they want and you can have absolutely everything that you want. And I remember, I don't know, go back, I was 24 or something years old. And I remember literally writing that down, Jill, going, is that true? Like, I didn't know, but I worked at a health club at the time and we were selling health club memberships, and they helped to kind of deepen that inside of us. And they were like, we're helping people and we're helping people to get healthy and we're helping people to have a greater life. And we're creating an environment and creating a safe place and a fun place for them to work out. And I got it so deep inside of me. You help enough people get what they want and you can have everything that you want. I went on to become literally one of their top membership representatives, whatever I was called back then. The driving energy was helping people get what they want. And I did it from kindness and helping them to see their vision and beyond where they were. And I just love that because it's our nature, I believe, to be helpful. And I just love that you're seeing more and more of that in the world. And I believe, especially with the whole COVID thing that happening, right? That, people are really helping people and we're all in this together. And there's so much beauty in so many ways, if you're looking for it, that's really coming out through this pandemic, which I'm sure nobody has wanted but when you look beyond the outer circumstances of it, the inner beauty, that's what's rising up as a culture, as a society, as a world. There's beauty in that. And I just love that it's more and more kindness is the driving energy. So
yes, I know. Isn't that great that we now have kindness? Like I'm almost hearing it's a daily word. I'm so thrilled. Yeah. I'm so grateful. And it is an important element of being human kindness. We need it. And you know what else, Michelle? I want people to do conscious acts of kindness, not just random acts of kindness, conscious acts of kindness every single day, whatever it takes. Smile. It's simple. It's so simple. Open the door, carry someone's groceries, send a text to tell someone that you appreciate them, whatever it is, just do one thing every single day.
Oh, honey, that's so beautiful. And I know you have a kind free giveaway that you can direct people to. So as your conscious kindness, I love that. What is it that you want to share? And we'll, of course, put the links below as well that people can access this because I do want people to know about you, who you are, what you're about, and how you can best contribute to them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So a couple things. One is I want to give you a free gift, which is great audio, more fun publicity tips and easy things to do. And to get that, you go to publicitycrashcourse.com/free gift. And if I can help you in any way, please go ahead and go to info@JillLublin.com, info@JillLublin.com. Lots of L's in there. And I know, Michelle, you'll put it in the link. And let us know you'd like to schedule a call to talk about whatever, publicity for yourself, getting a book done, whatever it is to move you forward. It is time because, in my opinion, there's no more waiting, right? And it is important that you get your message out. And it can be very simple publicity things, very easy steps to take to build your business more, whatever that business is. And that is the key, is to take those steps, baby steps, bigger steps if you're ready, whatever it is. Point is, let's start moving and get you recognizable as the person, the go-to, the place to come to, so that people keep recognizing you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. You're just a total joy and a pleasure. And I'm just so glad that we can help more people to find out your gifts, your talents, your strengths, and get them out to the world. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Be a part of the conversation on Facebook and become a Miracles and Millions manifester at michellehumphrey.com/connect. Let's play together, because living miracle-minded is the gift you give yourself that has a massive impact on others and paves the way to make you millions. Your time is now.